Hi and welcome back to Darvanalee Designs Studio. For those that don't know, my name's Nicole Reed and this is my channel, Darvanalee Designs Studio. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button and the little bell icon beside it, and that way you won't miss out on any future posts. And if you're returning, welcome back. Thank you again for joining me. I really do appreciate it. So you might be wondering what we're here for today. Today we are here to make our block 11 in our block of the month series, foundation paper piecing. The block is called Garden Patch. It is a super simple block to make. We're just making some 4 patches and some triangle units, and then we've got this beautiful block. So let's get started. Okay, so we're about to make the garden patch block. You're going to need a few things today. The first thing that you need is obviously your fabric. I'm using white, black and red, as you can see here. You're also going to need to head over to our blog, and the link is below this video where you can find all the information about the block and also the templates that you need to create the block. You're going to need some quilting rulers, some template plastic or cardstock or something along those lines so you can make a nice crease. Add a quarter ruler or just a normal quilting ruler will be fine as well. Some paper scissors, some pins, a rotary cutter, a glue pen, and I like to use my little hand press so I don't have to get up and down to the iron while I'm doing this. Alright, so we're going to get started. We are going to start assembling the components to the block. So basically you have a triangle part and then you have some square parts. So it's a nice, simple, quick and easy block to go together. So I'll move all my stuff out of the way and we'll get started. Okay, so the first thing that you're going to do is, as I said, you're going to download your templates and then you're just going to cut out all your components. Now I like to leave a little bit of excess paper around that outer border just so to be safe that I don't chop into my seam allowance. So first things first is we're going to work on our little triangle one here, and you can see it's got the dark grey on it and a white, so that means that it is a black and white pieces that I need. So as you've seen on the layout page, we've just got this component here and then a 4 patch. Okay, so we're going to flip our template over, and I've got a nice piece of scrap fabric here that I can put on there, and because it is quite a large bit, I'm actually going to use my glue pen, and I'm just going to put a little dollop of glue there, and that's just going to hold that into place for me. Then I'm going to flip it over and I'm going to find C2. I'm going to grab my template plastic, lay that on the line and bring the piece of paper back across, then grab my outer quarter ruler and my rotary cutter, and I'm going to get rid of that excess fabric. And then I need to grab a piece of black fabric, and I've been rummaging around in my scrap bin today, so I found some little pieces that are going to work perfectly. So all I'm going to do is, with the right sides facing together, so your first piece that you put on is right sides facing up and your second piece will be right sides facing down, and then you just place that on there like so, and you can pop a pin in at this stage. And that's just going to hold it in place. So then what we're going to do is we're going to head over to the sewing machine and we're going to stitch, reducing our stitch length down. That's very key on this, so you can perforate the paper and it makes it easy to remove it a bit later. You're going to, usually I take it down to around about a 2 and just stitch on that line, remembering to backstitch at the beginning and at the end. Okay, so we've stitched that down, as you can see there, and now what we're going to do is we're going to take that pin out and we're going to flip our fabric over and grab our little hand press and just give that a nice little press. And you can see there that it's covered all that area that needed to be covered. Now we're going to flip it back over again, grab our template plastic, laying that onto the line, pulling the paper back across, add a quarter ruler, and you can find a link for this down below underneath the video. Trim off that excess, fold out our paper, and then grab another piece of fabric. Again, aligning our raw edges, popping a pin in, heading over to the sewing machine and stitching on that line. Okay, so that side's done, just removing that pin, flipping it across, and again just using our hand press. So as you can see, we've got a nice point there. So now what we can do is we can trim up this part of the template. So just flipping it over, we're going to grab our quilting rulers, and you can see on the template there is a dark and a light line. You want to place your 1/4 inch mark of your ruler on that dark line, inner dark line, and then the outside of your ruler is going to be laying against that light line, and then you can just trim away your excess. And that still leaves us with our nice seam allowance. And you're just going to continue that all the way around. And there we go, our template is now done. Okay, and you can set that part aside. Next we're going to do our 4 patches. So you can see here I've got a few of the templates, and basically all we're going to do is we're going to get a red and a white square, and it's just one seam. So I've got a lot of different little bits of scrap and whatnot out of my scrap bin, so I'll be able to use them. So you can see there I've got 2 bits that will work perfectly, and then I can just sew them along and then we'll attach them together. So like always, the first thing you want to do is you want to flip it over and you want to put your first piece on. You might have to use a little bit of your glue pen. And anything I use today, the links are all down below, so that makes it nice and easy if you need to go and get any of the products. And then again, I just line up my second piece with the raw edge. I can see the line there, and I've got a 1/4 inch. And just to double check that, I'll grab my template plastic, pop that on, and I can see there that I've definitely got a 1/4 inch seam allowance. Perfect. These are nice and easy, so simple to do. Popping a pin in again as always, and you just are going to head over to the sewing machine and you're going to stitch on that line, making sure that you back stitch at the beginning at the end, and you're going to then repeat that for the remaining templates that you have. Okay, so I've got all those template pieces done now, and now we're going to make these into 4 patches. So all you're going to do is you're going to lay one part of the template down, and then you're going to lay the next part, and it's going to create our 4 patch. And then what you will do is you will line up your center marks like you normally would for a 4 patch, and then you're going to either clip or place a pin in. I like to place a pin in because it holds it in place then, and I don't have to worry about it moving. And then you're going to head over to the sewing machine, and you are going to stitch on that dark line, and our 4 patch will be complete then, and then you just repeat it for the second one. Okay, so that's our 4 patches done. Now you're going to repeat that to make altogether 5 4 patches, and then you're going to make 4 of these components, and then we are ready to do the layout. So I'm going to head off and keep doing them off camera, and then we'll be back to put our block together. Okay, so we have got all our components together, and now we're ready to do our layout. So you want to just grab your layout sheet here, and to save us a little bit of time, and what I've done is I've actually stitched some of my components together because it's a relatively easy block to do. So you can see here that I've got this top row here. We've got a 4 patch, a triangle unit, and then another 4 patch, and we need to sew them together. So basically all I've done is laid them out, and then I've sewn them together. And then our middle one is the reverse of that. So we've got 2 triangle ones and a 4 patch in the center, and you can see here that I've already done that. So now what we need to do is our bottom row. So basically we've got our triangle unit and our 2 4 patches. Okay, and they get laid there side by side, and then all you're going to do is you're going to take your triangle unit and place that onto your 4 patch, grab yourself a pin or a wonder clip, This doesn't have any seams that have to align or anything like that, so in this case I'll just use a wonder clip to hold it in place. And then I'm going to head over to the sewing machine and I'm going to stitch right along that dark line, making sure that I reverse at the beginning and at the end. Okay, so that's sewn together. We just open that out and give that a little bit of a press. Then we'll get our next 4 patch, lay it on top, and repeat the same process. Popping a wonder clip on, and then just stitching down this dark line. Okay, so now our unit is together, and that is our 3 rows. So now all we need to do is take row 1 and attach it to row 2, and then attach that to row 3. And to do that, all we do is lay that on top of the second row, and here we'll have to line up and nest our seams. So you want to use pins in this case, and make sure that your seams are going in opposite directions. So I can see there that that's lining up quite nicely, and I can pop a pin in. If you find it a bit too thick, you can use wonder clips, but just be very careful when you're sewing that you don't remove it too soon and your seams move. And for the rest of it, I will just use wonder clips along there because there's no seams to match up. Making sure that all your raw edges are aligning and nothing is curling up underneath. Okay, so now what we need to do is head over to the sewing machine and stitch along that dark line. Again, remembering to reverse at the beginning and at the end. Okay, so that is now sewn together. I can take my pins out, and you can see there that it's gone together quite nicely. So we can give this a really good press once we've got the next row on. So next we're just going to take row 3 and we're going to put that onto the center. Again, we are going to nest our seams and pop pins into those, making sure they're nesting really nicely and that all your raw edges are aligning. And then just pop some wonder clips along, making sure that none of your fabric is curled up or anything like that and all your raw edges are meeting. And then we'll head over to the sewing machine and do the same thing again, starting here, make a back stitch, and when you finish, do a back stitch as well. And there we go, our next row is on, and just remove those pins and we can open that up, and that is it. Our block is done. So now what you're going to do is you're going to head over to the ironing board and you're going to give that a really good press, and then you're going to set that aside with the rest of your blocks, and that's it. The garden patch block is now finished. Okay, so thank you very much for joining me today. I really do hope that you enjoyed making the block garden patch. As I said, it's a very simple block to go together, and I can't wait to see your creations over in our Facebook group. The link for that is down below. If you liked this video today, give it a thumbs up, leave us a comment down below and tell us what you thought. And if you're, as I said, if you're new here, hit that subscribe button and the little bell icon beside it, and that way you won't miss out on any future posts. For those that don't know, my name's Nicole Reid for Darvanalee Designs Studio, and I'll see you all again next time. Bye for now.